Hello everyone, welcome to Kalpa Kendra Tarot. Today we are back with another reading, and the topic for today's reading is your charisma according to them. And that them can be people in general or a specific person in your mind. So you can ask a question about how somebody specific views your charisma, or you might want to know how people in general view your charisma, how you are perceived by people at large. Okay, so it will have both collective energy, like obviously an energy of a collective that is looking at you, and also the energy of a specific person who may be looking at you. It depends on your question. I'll try to incorporate both the energies into the reading and speak from the perspective of people asking about a specific person, and then people asking about the world looking at their charisma and then developing an opinion about them, right? So I would try to address both. What you can do to select your pile is you just close your eyes, ask the question, and see the one and see which pile you feel most attracted to. If you feel attracted to more than one pile, then you may have messages in more than one pile. And if you want to ask for multiple people, or if you want to ask about, say, a person and then people separately, it's up to you. The permutation and combinations are up to you completely. I'll just introduce the pile so that we can get started with the reading. For group number one, we have Time Wave. For group number two, we have the Power of Self. And for group number three, we have the Holy Grail. So these are our three options for today. I would want the reading to be short and crisp, and that's why I wanted to stick with three options. I think that is what I will be doing from now on. Let's see how that goes. I will try to cover as much, like as many details as I can access intuitively. And I don't know how like what all is gonna come up, so I'm excited. And without further delay, let's get started with the reading, and I'll meet you at the click of your timestamp. Hello, group one. So if you selected this card, Time Wave, then welcome to your reading. Let me show you your card first. So this is your card, and your message says being in the present moment. Right. So we have otters in your card who are relaxing in a wave. So I'll just tell you what message is coming through based on this primary card that we have selected for your group. Group number one, people perceive you as a busy bee. More than that, people perceive you as somebody who's extremely responsible and takes responsibility for their family, and they notice certain thing about, like, this could be the opinion of a person. Like, you could be asking about a specific person, how they view your charisma, or you could be asking about people in general. Either way, the message would resonate in the same way, should resonate in the same way. So the opinion is that you're happy to take responsibility of your family, and I can see a mosquito being a nuisance. So anyway, you're happy to take responsibility of your family, and you have proven to people time and again that when the going gets tough, you are the most solid pillar that they can rely on. You are a pillar of strength for many, especially your family members and your friends. You might get a lot of calls from your friends and people who know you because they trust your advice. You are mature way beyond your age, and you come from a place of wisdom and clarity that is rare to come by. There is a sense of not being able to catch a private moment with you because you're so involved in your family. Even here, there is an otter family who's relaxing in the wave. So it feels like whenever, like, you prioritize your family in a way, you prioritize people who are close to you in a way that it's very difficult to come close to you and get, like, there's so many people who want to meet you, there's so many people who want a slice of your time, but then they are not able to access you in that way because you uh, keep aside your free time and your leisure for your family and your loved ones so diligently that you might cancel on others, but you show up for your like people that you're responsible for, especially your parents and your friends, close friends, very close friends. Otherwise you're not available. That, this makes them feel jealous. There are people who are feeling jealous, hoping that if they can be one of your close friends, or if they can be one of those people that you hang out with, they would consider themselves lucky, because here you can see this otter in the background, so it feels like a lot of people are just watching you from the background or watching your life unfold on social media, and they are hoping and praying that if someday you count them to be your close friends as well, then they can be a part of your life in the same way, because they are amazed by um, like how dedicated you are in making sure that your family is taken care of. Maybe you are the kind of person who would love to take your family on vacation, or you would do things like, I'm seeing a specific image in my head where you scan the room to see that your loved ones are comfortable. Say you are in a room with your mother, and without going and explicitly telling your mother that she can call you anytime she needs something, you just keep an eye on your mother, like, like one eye on your mother all the time, all the time. Like if you sense that she's uncomfortable, or she might get into trouble, or this is just not about your mother, like maybe even for a younger sibling you would do the same. You always keep an eye out for them, for anybody that you like, and at the moment you sense that they can be in some sort of discomfort, you just like you get involved, and you just make sure that they know that that situation gets an intervention, you intervene right away. So that kind of authority, which is hardly explicit, it's very implicit and it's subliminal, that people find very protective and powerful at the same time. People know that they cannot mess with people who are close to you, and at the same time it's very, you are a very fun loving person, not that you are somebody who lives in isolation or something, but at the same time you're very hard to access. Your boundaries are very solid, and that makes people want you more, and they can't even tell you that how much they want to be with you, because you don't entertain. They might tell you, like you might hear what they have to say, but you won't entertain that. It's not like just because people are asking you to visit their place and hang out with them, you would leave everything behind and you would hang out with them. And people know that, like, no matter how much they tell you, there is always going to be a wall that they cannot cross, and they can only observe from a distance, but they cannot just be with you the way they would want to be with you. They experience you as a very solid person who's very reserved. Their social battery is something that they take care of, in the sense that if you understand your social battery, how much you can socialize and all, and you would never socialize to the extent that you get so exhausted that nothing is left for things and people that you prioritize. It could be your job, it could be your own people, it could be yourself, like it could be your own time with yourself. So there are things like alone time also gets a priority in your case, but there are people who are observing you from a distance, or this person that you're asking about, if you're asking about a specific person, then this is their opinion, where it adds to the allure for sure. Okay, and now what is group ones? Yeah, jump. So what is their like, how would people or their specific person describe their charisma? So it has a very similar energy, along with the same color theme. I would just look at the back of the deck energy. Nest. You are ambitious. When you take something seriously, or there's something that you want to do, you are unapologetic about it, and you would do it the moment you decide. Like there is something about your ambition which is settled. Like people know how ambitious you are, or people, even if you don't see yourself like that, people see you like that. People think that once you've made up your mind, you just make sure that you give it to your 100%, and chances are that you will excel at it because you are intelligent, because you have this focus. And people think of you as somebody who has some sort of expertise or discipline, mastery, intelligence, something. I don't know if you look at yourself like that, because you might suffer from underconfidence. This is people's opinion of you. I am seeing that there are compliments which are, I don't think you are being overestimated, but I think you underestimate yourself. There are compliments which are so high, praises that are coming in for you, that you might think that, oh, I don't deserve this. But people clearly don't think this way. People think that, like, anytime you set your mind to something, you can achieve it. You have it in yourself, okay? And they have seen you grow, and there are people who idolize you. You might not know this, but there are people, like, I'm seeing from a distance that you have observers. Even when you go out of your, like, even when you step out of your house, there could have been an incident in your life where you were stalked. This is an energy which would make people obsess over you because they cannot access you in a normal way that they can access others. You give people limited access to yourself, and you it's not something that you do deliberately. It's something that happens organically. Like you cannot um, entertain people to socialize with you all the time, and there's a limit to how much you can talk and how much you can engage in small talk. So it happens naturally, and people understand this about you. If they want to push a boundary, then they will feel intimidated, because you are not rude, but there's something about you in the way that you carry yourself. The thing that is coming to my mind is Capricorn. If you know about Capricorn energy, there is a formal sort of professionalism in their demeanor, which in itself is kind of intimidating. It's not that they don't tell you, they don't reject you, but their uh, posture is so uh, formal that it filters, your behavior, and the way you carry yourself in itself acts as a filter. And it filters out all those people who may be wanting a more informal sort of exchange or interaction with you. People don't really feel comfortable in maybe putting their hand on your shoulder or something. Like people would not be so comfortable in touching you. I don't think you also are very comfortable in touching people. Like you, if you are willing to make that effort, like someday if you're willing to socialize and just give people a pat on the back or something, you can do that. But that depends on your mood. It's not it's not something that people would generally feel comfortable in doing. Not like, you're not come and give me a hug sort of a person. You're like, appreciate me from a distance, and I love you just as much as I will if you stand close to me. And if you try to get very close to me, then I might you might regret it, and I might not like it. So that sort of demeanor is there. With the Nest, this is very clear that you are somehow very nurturing and very very caring towards people who stay with you, or your family members. And people have noticed this, or your specific person has noticed this, and they like it. All right, so now we'll see what tarot has to say about you. What is your charisma? I think you have some degree or something that they admire, which has to do with your professional achievement, your career, which makes you stand out, or out of either the person's league that you're asking about, or out of most people's league. Like you are well achieved, or you are a class apart in some way. That is how people perceive you. All right. All right, so how do they view your charisma? Your charisma according group 1. Yeah, the Lovers. All right. So there's this thing. There are times when you just speak to people. Like I told you something about your mood, right? It depends on your mood. And When it clicks with you, you might say that I always talk to people nicely, but that's not how people perceive. People think that it depends on your mood, and sometimes you might just say like a brief hi or hello, and sometimes you actually make the effort to have a proper conversation. And when you do that, when they sense that you are in a mood to talk to them, they get very, very happy. So you might not know these things about yourself, but people actually wait to talk to you, and people actually wait for you to make an effort or take that initiative, because they think that they might offend you if they insist. I think people have insisted earlier. People have said to you that you should visit them, or you should go to their house, or you should meet, or you should do something, and you have kind of thought that yeah, they are just saying it. You did not understand the intensity of their emotions. So people are saying, when you offer something, or when you make the effort to suggest, say, a trip or a date, then they get really happy. So when you make that choice to choose somebody, people feel special, right? So group, the Emperor. See, this is not a coincidence, and I was sensing this energy. I did tell you about that Capricorn energy that was coming through. So there is a professionalism about your demeanor, where you are very proper, like prim and proper. Like you say and do things the way they're meant to be done, and everything is like properly. Like I can almost envision a dinner table situation where everything is served in a proper way, and people sometimes feel intimidated by just how disciplined you are, about how ritualistic you are about doing things the right way. That can be intimidating. Not that they don't appreciate it, but more than appreciating it, you kind of trigger people in the sense that you hold a mirror to their imperfections by being so perfect. You are in some sense, you are being perceived as perfect in a way that makes other people feel that you're out of their league, or they might do something that will be perceived as say uh, like a mess, or a debacle or something, where they would make a fool of themselves, and they feel you would not. It's not, they are not saying that you would judge, but they will feel belittled in front of you. They really admire you and they really want to do things correctly in front of you, especially if it comes to invitations where they are invited for dinner or something. They want to dress appropriately, they want to pick up the right cutlery, they want to take the right thing to your house. So there's this thing about you being uh, very teacherly, in a royal sense, in a regal sense. uh, like you know how in school we have decorum, and we have to ask if we want to do something, take permission and everything. So it's very prim and proper. Like, I don't know if you have ever been in those situations where you have had to teach people, but or you have had to tell people how to do something, or you've just judged somebody or judged people, saying that, oh, you don't do things like that, let me show you how to do it, and they felt extremely embarrassed in your presence or something. Four of Cups in the reverse. Okay. When people meet you, they forget themselves, or they forget their pain for a while. This can be something which you might take to mean that you might be in the presence of energy vampires. It can often be so that you take on, or you absorb other people's pain. So people are saying that whenever they meet you, they feel lighter, they feel like they feel better than they were feeling before meeting you. So that way you make people lighter, obviously, but then that can also be that people tend to take advantage of your energy in a way that you're not aware of. But you definitely make people feel lighter and more valued, and you make people feel seen without putting much effort into it. You make people feel seen for sure. The Sun and Knight of Wands. I don't understand why people want to communicate with you so much, and yet there's an air of intimidation where they think that they want to have a light-hearted, and anytime they talk to you, the conversation is always light-hearted. The conversation is always full of life and giggles, but it feels like they still cannot, there's a wall that they cannot cross, and that wall is your charisma. The fact that you don't let people in so easily, the fact that uh, you without rejecting anybody or without explicitly telling anyone to back off, the fact that you can do that with your energy is what your charisma is all about. All right, Ace of Swords, back of the deck energy. I'm not surprised. This also says that you are very straightforward with your thoughts, emotions. The way you say it actually, people can actually take that like take your word to the bank, because you do not often, people get uncomfortable with silence, and they say something that they don't mean, or they make an offer that they cannot keep. But you're not like that. If you say something, you mean it, and you say it in a manner that shows that you mean it, and your entire personality is proof that you stand by whatever you're doing. The way you dress, the way you speak, whatever you uphold, the promises that you make. There is no exaggeration, there is no belittling, there is no taking anybody for granted. So it's very clear, and it's also very respectable. Like it's something that people are in awe of, and at the same time they admire about you. Okay, so if you were asking about a particular person, this is what they define your charisma as. And to sum it up, I would just say that you have very Capricornian energy. Like that mountain goat sort of energy is what is dominating this reading. You could have prominent Capricorn or Saturn placements. That is fine. Like Saturn place, there will obviously be a Saturn in your chart. And what I mean is that if Capricorn and Aquarius are dominant in your chart, where you have majority of planets in those two houses, then it will be a prominent Saturn placement. And you might have that because your personality has some level of finesse, which is very professional, very formal, respectable, disciplined without being dominating or authoritative. You're not dominating, but your aura dominates, your energy dominates. So that is your reading, group one. If that resonated, let me know in the comments. For more readings like this, subscribe to the channel. If you're interested in other like different kinds of content that I do, there are some channels where I do tarot readings in Hindi and in Bengali. If you're interested in something like that, then you might want to subscribe to those channels as well. If you want personal reading from me, then you can get in touch with me. Just leave a comment and I'll get in touch with, like, I'll write back to you with the process, with the details of how to contact me. Otherwise, I'll see you in another reading sometime very, very soon. Till then, take care. Hello, group 2. So if you selected the card, the Power of Self, welcome to your reading. This is your card, and you can take a look at the scene depicted in your card. And your message is change of consciousness, right? So group 2, we'll first talk about the message that is coming through based on this primary card of yours. Group 2, so what people or your specific person perceive as your charisma is your ability to transform according to the necessities and demands of life, which they might not understand on their own. But this is an intelligence that you carry at a spiritual level to understand when to shift, how to shift, who to become. And people have seen, if you're asking about people in general, then this would be relevant for people who have perceived you in a certain way when you were a kid, and now they are getting to see the adult version of you, and they are understanding how there's a difference in your personality. And although they might have felt something completely different about you based on who you, like how you expressed yourself as a kid, or who you were as a child, what your dominating, like what not dominating, but what your dominant traits were, how you carried yourself, and how you spoke about yourself, the interests that you exhibited. They kind of labeled you in a certain way, and who you have now grown up to be is totally different from their expectation, and they're seeing that you have an intelligence about who to become, which is almost primordial. Like you have an understanding of self which transcends their intelligence in a major way. They might look at life, and they might think of the demands of life to be something else altogether. Like for example, they might have seen your sensibilities as a kid and thought that the best occupation for you would be to get into teaching, or something very like something very behind the scenes sort of. But as you grew up, you evolved into this like you embodied this this main character energy, and you evolved into this heroine, or this goddess, and or this god or a hero, and you can headline a project like they have never thought that you could. And so they were forced to change their opinion about you. And if you're asking about a specific person who's maybe not seen you for such a long time, then this person thinks that even for the brief moment that they have known you, the kind of transformation that they have seen you undergo, and who all like the kind of personalities or the characters that you've exhibited in this short period of time, has convinced them that you are truly capable of the impossible, and you cannot be categorized or labeled into a certain box. And so there's this interesting like thing that is depicted here. Here you can see two women. One of them is awake, another is asleep, and this like these two are described as twins. Okay, and this can also be symbolic of your masculine and feminine energy. When one energy of yours dominates, the other automatically sleeps. And this is not true. Like they can both be awake and operate actively once you have integrated those energies and activated their essence inside of you. That is a different phenomena. It requires some sort of spiritual expertise and practices that we call inner work. Inner transformation is required. So I don't know how far you've been able to achieve that. You may be on your path to achieving it. Now the thing is, people have seen that you kind of take, like people think that you should be ambitious at a time when you feel like you are going to take a break. And when people see you people see you getting ambitious, they might feel that, oh, you are rushing into something, you should relax and think about things. So people have their opinion, or the specific person that you are asking about has an opinion which does not match your energy at all. Like you do not go by people's expectations. People, like if you're asking about a specific person or people in general, they have stopped expecting anything from you, because they are more comfortable in expecting the unexpected from you. So whatever they think is the right thing for you to do, you do the opposite. And not only you do the opposite, you prove them wrong, that whatever they thought was right for you was never right for you. It was something completely different that you were supposed to do, which you embodied even without anybody getting a clue that that the moment or the situation, the circumstances in your life demand that you embody that character, or demand that you embody that role. For example, you might give up a job which everybody thinks that is the highlight or the high point of your career. You might just resign and then go on to start a business, and people might think that is the stupidest thing what somebody in your position could have done, and then it turns out to be the best thing that you've done. So you surprise people like that. And also you might at a time when people think that you should settle down, get married, you might go for like say go on to travel the world, or you take a very unconventional decision which sounds ridiculous from the looks of it. But people will have to wait little patiently, not that they have to wait for years, but within, I think, a few months, people realize that their assumption and their calculations about your life is always going to disappoint them, because you operate from an intelligence which is connected to source. Like, you basically operate on the basis of your intuition, and that's why that's the beauty of your life. That is why you're being able to live in a way where it really doesn't matter what people think about you. People really look at you and think of you as an enigma. They are somebody that they are not able to figure out, and they will not be able to figure out so easily. And there are, I can actively hear that if you're asking about people in general, there are people who say that I cannot figure out group 2. Like, don't ask me, I don't know. Like, that is one person I cannot comment on. And even this person could be saying, like, the specific person that you're asking about could be saying the same thing about you, that they might think that no matter what they say about you, they'll be proven wrong. So they might also feel the urge of saying something completely opposite of what they actually think will happen. So if somebody says that, do you think group 2 is gonna go for this ceremony, and people think that, oh yeah, I think group 2 might go for this ceremony, but thinking that you always do the unexpected, they might say no, they won't go. Just because they think a certain way, they might feel the urge of saying the complete opposite of what they think you will do, because you have proven them wrong in so many situations. I think you've done unconventional things, or you've opted for unconventional things many times in your life. Even if you don't feel that, there are people who definitely feel that. And the person that you're asking about feels that you are very unconventional, like you cannot be boxed into certain neat categories. Sometimes people have been so restrictive with you that they have awakened to their own limitations in perspective, like limitations in perceiving reality of things, that they thought something is better for you if they forced you to get married or something, and you rejected the proposal, and then eventually they saw how the marriage would have been a disaster for you. So people realize that you have an intelligence, or you see the world in a way that they might not be able to understand, but there's obviously an intelligence behind it, which like I said, transcends their intelligence or level of perception. All right, so what is group two's charisma according to people or their specific person? Group two's charisma. Group two's charisma. Emerge, shelter. This is a beautiful energy. Anything else, Spirit? Anything else? Group two's charisma. Take over, right? I'm not surprised. And then there's sorry, I had to pause. Yeah, so I'm not surprised. It's a beautiful energy. I'll break it down. Let's get deconstructing group 2. So first of all, with the emerge card, what am I opening into? I have said that the person that you used to be, when either the specific person got to know you, or the people started developing an opinion about you, is nowhere close to who you are now, and you're a completely different person. So they feel like the transition, you have totally emerged as somebody that not only has proven them wrong, but also made them realize that how their perception of things can limit people's potential. And if you listen to them, if you listen to their limited understanding of your life, of your personality, then you would have never discovered a side to yourself which you are now enjoying every day. Like, you are living your life in a way that challenges people's sense of possibilities and conventions, and what things should be, of normalcy. You challenge people's idea of normalcy, what is right, what is normal. And so the shift is, if you're asking about a specific person, I'll tell you this, that they saw you as somebody who could do things which were numbered. Like, they probably saw, I remember having this interview with somebody once, and they said to me that, what are you going to do when you grow up? You're either going to join a government job, or you're going to support your father in his business. Other than that, there's nothing else you can do. So why opt for unconventional disciplines? Stick to something conventional like history and all, and just go through your education looking at the possibilities that lie there for you, not dreaming of a life that you cannot have. So this was actually said to me. So you can understand that how people's limited perception can be a problem. If I believed that person and I lived my life according to their definition of me or their understanding of me, God knows what I'd be doing now. So this is what is coming to my mind, that you have proven, like, and the person who said that to me was actually somebody who was supposed to award me for excellence when I when I was coming out of that institution. Not going into details about that institution. So this is the difference, and this is the shock that that transition caused, and that person was forced to experience that transition that was unfolding in front of their eyes. Not that I transitioned, the person had to transition. I was just being myself. So you, in many occasions, were you're just being yourself, and people are getting shocked because their understanding is limited. Okay. And with in terms of a specific person, if you're asking, that person might have felt that like the person might have judged you in a way that they are embarrassed about. They're clearly embarrassed about it. They thought of your perception being um, too ordinary, and then you showed them your depths and how extraordinary you are. Like, they thought that, oh, you only write quotes. They never understood that you are capable of writing your own poetry, or you are capable of they thought that you only talk about movies. They didn't understand that you are an artist who can write their own movies and create their own characters. So you are showing them depth to your personality, which is shocking and embarrassing for them, because they are now waking up to their prejudices and biases which they were not conscious of. So you're waking them up to side to their personality which would not have evolved had you not been present in their reality. So that is the power of your charisma. And that is how charismatic you are to this person, if you're asking about a specific person. And if you're asking about a group at large, then you have caused massive shifts in people that you don't even know about. People only coming across you have been forced to change and embrace things, and lifestyles and opinions, certain choices, in a way that if you knew about it, you would be I don't know, like, you would be shocked that you can sometimes people, I'm not sure that if you have never heard it, because with this energy I think you must have heard that people came up to you and said that because you said something, because you did something, they were forced to change the way they look at something in their life, or they were forced to. I remember there was a person who I went to this place, Shillong, and once I returned, I had this conversation with our driver, and like, our cab driver. And then when I returned, that person called up my friend and said that because of that conversation, they were getting back together with, like, he was getting back together with his wife, and they were actually about to get divorced. And that was crazy, that the fact that a conversation can make such an impact on somebody's life. So things like that, things like that. So, and with shelter, even when people have been wrong about you, even when they have judged you, you understand people's limited perceptions, and also make room for their, like, make room for their own inner transformation in a way that is very that is very like, unexpected for them. For example, when somebody is judging you, you make them understand why that judgment does not qualify, or how it does not, like, your life is not subject to other people's opinion, or it is not a matter of how you are being perceived. It is a matter of how you want to live your life. And these two are different things. Like, you may be perceived as a villain, but if you want to live your life like a hero, then you live your life like a hero, right? So, but when they shift their perception of you, they can come join you on the fun that you are having. And you don't judge people because of their past beliefs, or because of their prejudices, because you understand that level of consciousness or limited perception kind of restricts your perspective in a way, um, in a way that in a way that does not open you up to many opportunities, or make, like, closes you as an individual. Like, you become a close, shallow person, not because you want to be that, but because you don't know what, like, who else to be, or because you don't know better, and you understand that. That's why you forgive people, and you give people the opportunity to um, not only redeem themselves but also join you and be friends with you. Or when people ask for forgiveness, or even without them asking for forgiveness, you kind of have this, you embody this forgiveness in your like mannerism, and you just forgive people, and you're like, okay, that's fine. Oh, that's fine, whatever you thought about me. Or you don't even mention it, you just like invite people to, we welcome people into your life the moment they show up. And that is beautiful. Like, there could be a very judgmental relative of yours who has always like maybe spoken uh, very like very negatively about you, right, without using any profanities. But the moment you meet that relative, just sensing that that person may be embarrassed about how they treated you, or what they have said about you, you would go and make an effort to make that person feel comfortable, and you would welcome that person. And the person would be shocked that they would come there, like they would go to a place expecting you to not talk to them or ignore them, and while they expect that from you, you shock them by giving them a hug, or making them comfortable in your presence. And that is mind blowing, and that is why people feel welcome to embrace the transition that not only you sign up for yourself, but you also make others sign up for, just by being yourself. So that's amazing, amazing group too. All right, so with the takeover card, yeah, man, it's just your energy. Like, you become, like, the way you headline a project, the way you steal limelight, the way you steal other people's thunder as well. You may be a popular character even without wanting to be one. Or when you talk to people, or when you socialize with people, people kind of get lost in your like in the way you deal with life, or in your narrative. They get lost in your narrative, how you talk about the surrounding, your present. Oh, change of consciousness, right? There's not the present moment, but this is the change of consciousness. But yeah, you literally cause change in consciousness. This is called the change of consciousness. Just look at that. The way you describe your life is something that people wait to. Are you a writer, or are you some sort of artist? Because it feels like people wait to listen to you, people wait to listen to your perspective, and your perspective, your narrative takes over anything else that might have been in that place, and you become like the main character, the protagonist of that moment. So that is again beautiful. With reflect, you introspect on everything in your life, and that's why you are one of the wisest people that people can seek counsel from. And your advice, and the your perspective, the way you live your life is inspiration for many. And people just wait to see sometimes what you'll do next. Just like, have you ever seen those commentaries, that those sport commentaries, where people are like, oh, what will Tendulkar do next, or how will Dravid perform in the next innings or something. But people want to see how this will unfold, or how you will evolve as a person. That's why people, so that is the energy that you have, where people, you live your life like a legend, and even if you are not, say, a legend per se, in a manner that Sachin Tendulkar is, I'm saying that even in your limited surroundings, in the life that you're living, you have an aura which people perceive as being larger than life, and they look at you for to like in anticipation what you'll do next, and how you'll move to the next chapter, what the next chapter will be. So people are interested in your life. You have people who kind of look at you like a celebrity. The Hanged Man, it just came out, so I'm gonna take that. So, how do people perceive your charisma? The Hanged Man. People think, oh, so many cards: Knight of Cups, Wheel of Fortune, Temperance. Oh god, I won't take all of these cards. Yeah, so let's start with Hanged Man first. People think that the way you look at something is very different from how other people are looking at it, and that's why you would have relatives, or any person that you're asking about always kind of wonder about how you would look at it. I learned about this exercise where I think it was a book by Robin S. Sharma, where he was asking people to imagine what inspirational figures like Vivekananda or Gandhi, if invited on a dinner table conversation, what would their perspective be on a problem? So people imagine your perspective that way, that what would say group 2 say about something. And that is quite fascinating because you have a fascinating mind, and you say things which are very shocking. You don't add to the conventional narrative, you add to the narrative in a way that it in itself becomes unconventional, and you challenge the conventionality of a narrative. And you also make people understand that what they perceive as unconventional is just their limitation to expand their horizon, nothing else. Right, so what else? What is group two's charisma? Justice. Wow, you not only do the right thing, you also make people understand or look at things in a way that changes their understanding of right and wrong. For example, if people were comfortable in doing something in a certain way for ages, you might just interfere and change the narrative forever by giving one argument or giving one statement or adding something to the overall exchange, which throws off the conventional pattern, like throws it off balance completely, and a new law emerges because of your perspective, because of the way. And you might become the center of attention in discussions. A lot of times, even in your family, people might make you the core argument may be coming from your perspective, or something that you have said, something that your way of looking at things will become like the definitive thing that people form their opinion around. So they anchor themselves in your perspective. The emperor, right? So it's a very solid character, like yours. I don't know, you might second guess yourself, right? You have strong values. I wouldn't challenge that, and I don't think even you would challenge that. Your values are very solid. What if the reading resonated with you for like till this point, then yeah, obviously this would indicate that your values are in certain cases very, very strong. But even that way, the way people perceive your judgment, I think you would be surprised to know that people think that sometimes they believe that you cannot do any wrong, which say is a big responsibility to shoulder for anybody. And people think that whatever you say is final, and that you have no doubts and you don't second guess yourself. But the truth is, truth be told, you may be second guessing yourself. It's just that people look at you as extremely confident. People think that when you say something, it is already settled in your mind, that you don't come from a place of doubt at all, that you are always sure, and you know very neatly what your opinion is, what your judgment is. I talk about judgment, and judgment is here. You often give the final verdict in things with justice, emperor, and judgment. My God, you give the final verdict even in your family cases or something. People understand that you have that energy, which carries the essence of finality. Like there's a finality to anything that you say or anything that you do, and people are forced to um, take cognizance of that moment, or take cognizance of that decision. Like if you've said something, if you've said that I'll do this, then people cannot challenge it anymore, because like I said, that they understand that you operate from an intelligence which is much higher than theirs, and they might not be able to even understand why you're saying something. That's why they don't challenge you now. Seven of Swords, my God. If you're asking about a specific person, then it is like the way they perceive you, they feel like they cannot trust their senses. And this happens, I'll tell you why this happens, because you're coming across as so powerful. They feel that they cannot trust you completely because you're extremely powerful, and they don't understand. Like if you know Diana's interview, that panorama interview that Princess Diana gave, there she said that when they come across a powerful woman, they don't understand what she's going to do with it, where she's going to take it. So something like that. I'm not even saying that you are a woman, you could be a man, but at the same time, the kind of power that you exercise over other people, which is like organic, not in a dominating way, but not in an aggressive way in any way, but naturally, energetically, the kind of power that you exercise makes them question whether or not they can trust you, because you are almost manipulative in some sense, in the sense that if you say something, it is so final, and the fact that they think that you won't change your mind, or people cannot argue with you because you have very strong reasoning. Your understanding of right and wrong is rooted in arguments and logic in a way that is very difficult to override. That's why people are scared of arguing with you or challenging your decision, and that's why people think that they might, like, you might take advantage of a situation, and uh, they might not be able to say that they are losing out on something, or they're just scared. Spirit, can you please clarify? Seven of Swords, Four of Wands. Scared, and at the same time they know that they have to come to you. People are scared of you, and at the same time they depend on you, they rely on you. So you will hear, I remember one time, what is coming to my mind is, a friend of mine had thought of a story for a movie that she wanted to make when she grows up. She would tell that story to all of our friends except me. She would not tell me that story, and I still don't know that story because she felt that I'll judge her, or it's not good enough, and that I said that it's not even a real film. Like, you don't know if you're gonna make that film. It's just an idea in your head. Why won't you share it with me? And she didn't. So it's like that. I understand that she was intimidated by the fact that I have sometimes conceptualized stories that were praised. So maybe if she shares her story with me, it won't, like, she won't be able to mm, match that level of precision or something. But whatever it is, I understand now after growing up, I understand what she must have gone through. At that time, it felt crazy. So it's something like that, that also she relied on me for everything else, but that story she won't tell me. So that is the Seven of Swords energy. There are certain things where people cannot trust you because you're too good, or you're so refined. There's a sort of mastery over your over things that you have expertise at, and that's why people again are intimidated in a way where people would not want to share details of their life, because your life is, say, you would not want to share your say school mark sheet with Einstein, right? Because Einstein is so good at what he does, so you might feel slightly embarrassed. So people might feel slightly embarrassed around you, and at the same time they depend on you, but they don't want to tell you. People don't want to be honest with you. People want to show you their refined, masked, fake side, which is slightly more polished, because they feel you might, they're not good enough for you. That's what they feel. And they feel that you might also, like, they're scared, and they think that you're so good at arguing and logically. This, like, Seven of Wands, oh my god, people are scared of you, and they think that you're so good at forming opinion and manipulating others and convincing others, that they will not be able to convince others if you are there, and so it's better to keep distance from you. So that is purely because they're scared of you. With the Lovers, they love to be your friends, they love to be chosen by you, they love to be that person that you choose to go to the prom with, or you choose for something. And people who know you, or if you're asking about a specific person, they would love to be somebody special in your life, and because you are a special person. So that is your reading, group 2. I think I exceeded the time limit, but yeah, not to worry. Whatever came through, if that resonated, I'll be glad, and I'll wait for a comment if you want to leave one. And if you want to check out other channels that I have, where I have content in Bengali and Hindi, if you understand those languages, then feel free to subscribe to those channels as well. Otherwise, I'll see you in another reading sometime very, very soon. If you want personal reading from me, then you can just comment, or if you want to get in touch with me, just comment, and I will give you the details. Take care. Hello, Group 3. So, if you selected this card, the Holy Grail, then welcome to your reading. This is the card that you've selected. Oh, look at the imagery. And your messages expand your heart and mind. So, based on this primary card, we will decipher your messages first. Group 3. So, your charisma according to people and the specific person that you have on your mind. Right. So, Group 3, there is a beauty to your existence which is very hard to miss, and it's very pure and innocent in some way. There's a lot of potential in you which is untapped because you've not made yourself available to certain things which would help you get discovered for your talents, and that itself creates like potential creates a sort of allure, a sort of enigma that what could become of this person. For example, say if Rabindranath Tagore hadn't written all those like poems and all those stories and songs, and he was just discovered with raw potential, then people would always wonder about what all he could write or who he could become had he written, right? So that has an allure of its own, that has a charm. So that your charm is not in, because you see you have all these eggs, but those eggs have only one of them is showing baby, the baby which is slightly formed. Others have begun to crack, but none of them have truly cracked yet. Like none of it, like nothing has been born as of yet. And you have these pairs, like couples in pairs, kind of watching over whatever is happening. So there are spirit guides and there are uh, ancestors and events unfolding in your life waiting to happen, where forces are watching you emerge into this person that you're meant to become. Okay, you also have emerge at the back as the back of the deck energy, but this is not your back of the deck energy. I'm just saying, by the way, that you are supposed to emerge into somebody that you have not totally become yet, and that is uh, wonderful for people in the sense that it leaves a lot of room for imagination. That who would you be if you choose to sing the songs that you want to sing, or if you just give wings to your desires, who will you become? Because you have raw talent and you are shy, you are coy in a way that is maybe detrimental to your potential materializing in the physical world, but it is beautiful for people. Like you have a very beautiful uh, feminine receptive quality to your existence, which people find very reassuring somehow. People think that because they don't see you as a competition, because you've not realized your power yet, you've not realized your strength yet. So there's something comforting about your strength as well, where people think that you would not, like, they don't see you as a competition, that you would not challenge their sense of familiarity and comfort, that you would not disturb their sense of peace, something like that. And that is what they call charismatic. And the way you dress as well, the way you dress, uh, the way you talk to people, you respect people a lot, you give people that respect, you make people feel seen, and at the same time you listen to people, without being in a rush, or without trying to force your perspective or your stand onto others. And that is very beautiful, that people like a lot, the fact that you listen to them. Right. So, what is group three's charisma according to people in general and this specific person? Play. What energizes me? I immediately got a vision of somebody playing with children, or being able to play with life in a very innocent way, which makes other connect with humanity, like raw humanity of things. Like for example, somebody who's late for work, it is very easy for us to scream at the person and say, what were you doing? Why are you late for something that you know that you should prioritize? But it's very difficult to say something like that to you, because the moment you're late for something, people understand that you must have been weaving something beautiful. Like you were late because you were doing something beautiful. and you got because of the way you carry yourself through life, because the way you prepare food is artistic, the way you dress yourself is artistic, the way you uh, maybe do little things is speaks of this, talks about the human luxury to maybe water plants or yeah, or prepare meals in a way that other creatures can't. So the beauty of innate humanness is something that gets expressed in your character very beautifully. The way you move through life is very poetic, and I'm getting that song in my head, poetry in motion. If you want to listen to that song, you can listen to it, because that is the message that is coming through, and your sense of style, your aesthetics, and your flow through life is being appreciated a lot. You may be one of those characters who are just beautiful in their in their physical sense, like in their raw physicality, or you have a way of embodying beauty which reminds people of their Venusian essence. Like the way you dress up, the way you get ready, the way you show up at a place is beautiful, rhythmic, and there's a pattern to it. There's a flow. The word that is coming to my mind is flow. Right. So what else? How is their charisma being perceived by people or their specific person? Okay, two cards here and map. What am I listening for? And map. Right. I did say that you have this quality where you listen to people. People feel heard in your presence. And in map, there is this sense that you are headed somewhere. Like I said, that you might want to be rude with a person who's late for work, but you won't want to, like, it's not the same thing with you. It's difficult to be rude to you because people get this sense that no matter what you were doing, it must have been important just because of the way you do things. Just because of the way you say prepare your lunch, and with such diligence and such dedication, consciousness flowing into that moment. And I have seen people, the way they approach and the way they handle life is very they're very careful with little things. You're very careful with little things. You might have pets at home, or you might take care of people in a way that touches people's heart, and that's why no matter what you do, even little things are like people take notice of it. Even if you are say watering a plant, or you are just watching sunrise or going for a walk, people understand that you're people understand that what you have behind the scenes is conscious living, and that conscious living is something that is becoming rarer on this planet, and that is appreciated because your way of being has that essence of conscious living behind it. Okay. And without saying it explicitly, yeah, glitter, what did I say, that there's this way you move, and uh, the style or your personality stands out, not because you're doing something which is different, but you are so ordinary in a beautiful way. Again, the best example that is coming to my mind is plain, simple, neat, but beautifully color coordinated aesthetics or um, clothing. Okay. Which is not exceptional in any way, but ordinary in a very beautiful way. Okay. Right. So now we'll look at tarot and see what is your enigma according to the people and your specific person. The Magician. It's not one thing that you do right which makes people look at you with awe. It's the combination of things that you are capable of doing. Be it like the way you sit and the way you get up, the way you move is coming to my mind again and again, is very precious, is very beautiful. Like you inspire people. People might have given you this compliment. Physical beauty is something that is coming through for sure, but it's not only about physical beauty. Even like, let's transcend that and go a layer deeper and talk about the essence that people are being able to notice. Some might call it physical beauty, but I understand that they would be only saying that for the lack of a better term or better expression, because what people are falling in love with is your essence, your flow. And that is where you can create magic with almost anything. You may be an artist where you create paintings or you create artwork, you take little things, and the way you organize things, it's very beautiful, it's very rhythmic to look at. Like, the rhythm of life gets highlighted in your movement and in your touch and the way you express yourself. There is rhythm of music and the seasons, the four seasons embodied in your presence. Okay, so it's a very beautiful energy. Beauty emanates, like the concept emanates from your existence in some way. Okay, so let's see what is your charisma. Nine of Wands, Queen of Swords. This is again a very powerful message coming through. What is coming through with this energy is that even though you understand what to say and how to behave with somebody, how to put up a boundary, because you are intelligent, you understand what is being said beyond the literal words. Like, somebody might be very sweet to you in their expression, but the tone and the energy and the intention behind what was said is something you pick up on. And if there's a mismatch, if they are not aligned, you can pick up on it very well, but you don't act on it. You're self-sacrificing, and I have felt this the moment I started the reading. But I was not saying that because I wanted to be more sure, and I did not think that I had to if it would be the right thing to say in a reading concerning your charisma, because there is nothing charismatic about letting people walk all over you. But there are certain people who like you for being modest and being polite even when you are hurt, for your guards being down, for your defenses being low. And you kind of stop yourself from hurting people. Even when you get hurt, you don't hurt people, and that is very beautiful. I did say that there was pure innocence in the way you carry yourself, and that pure innocence in certain cases can manifest itself as self-sacrifice or self-sabotage. Okay, but that does not mean that you don't understand. You understand what to say, where to say, and what people's actual intentions are, but you hold yourself back, and you forgive people, you give people a chance. And that, because people understand how good you are as a person, and that you have a good heart. Like, behind all of this is a kind, genuine heart. That's why people get more drawn to you. The Moon, yeah. So there is a quiet understanding which does not get expressed um, explicitly or in front of people. Like, there's a quiet understanding in your world about the reality of things that never comes out. You keep it to yourself, what you actually think. You're a very quiet person, even if you have fun and you are loud with others and everything, but you are in general quiet and soft in your nature. And that people find very attractive. Yes, some might take advantage of it, but it adds to your allure in some way, where you don't express what you actually think. And that's why people often wonder whether or not you can see behind their masks, which you can. If you if asked, you would say that I know exactly what they're doing, but I don't say it because you feel you don't want to hurt anybody. And there are emotions which are not processed, in the sense that you might have problems like delayed response to disrespect. If somebody disrespects you, you might have, there may be a lag in responding and everything, because you've never considered responding, you've never considered protecting yourself or standing up for yourself. So all those things are there, and that is becoming a definition of your charisma for a lot of people. But I would say that maybe you should learn a better way to protect yourself. But however, the people that you're asking about perceive these things about you, and this is why you are charismatic to them. With the Judgment, rarely do you leave a situation or put up a very strong boundary, but when you do, you respect that. And if you avoid somebody, you kind of, you don't announce things to people, which with the Moon and the Judgment, it is coming across very strongly, that you don't announce your decisions, you kind of, you enact them. You don't say that I will avoid you and I'll never talk to you. You do that, and in your action it is evident that you won't talk to the person anymore. So that is an aspect of your personality that people are scared of. They don't want to irritate you to the point that you actually do this, because nobody thinks that you're capable of this. Everybody thinks that you're too sweet to pull off something like that, but you are actually capable of it. And when you do it, it's scary, but you don't say that you'll do it, you actually do it. Ten of Cups, people are very happy to be with you. You give them that sense of home, comfort, nourishment, care, familiarity that people find in being with their loved ones. Or people feel very comfortable in your presence, that you have that thing about you where you can make anybody feel comfortable, anybody feel at home. People love spending time with you. Grandparents would love you. Everybody loves you. It's difficult to find somebody who would not love you. If you're asking about a specific person, then this person is saying that you cannot have an enemy, you cannot have a soul who would not like you, because you're so fragile, so beautiful, so soft. I feel like protecting you. Right, so any more messages for group 3, Spirit? What is their charisma like? 3 of Wands and the Star. The way to your heart is so mysterious. Like nobody knows how to, like, you're this person who hardly speaks, right? So nobody really understands how to impress you, because you don't, like, what should they do? They should gift you something, they should talk to you. People usually don't understand like how to reach that place where they become your your favorite or your prayer, like how to feature in your prayer, how to become that person that you will pray about or you will pray for. uh, how to become your prayer is what I'm sensing. That if you're asking about a specific person, then the person is saying that you are so beautiful as a person that any prayer that you make in front of God will be granted, but God knows whether or not they will be able to feature in your prayer, because you are maybe very religious and spiritual in some way, and people understand that about you, and people might even tell you that please pray for me, please pray for me, because people have this understanding that you're a pure soul and you're close to God, and then your prayers will be granted. And you just, you have this aura about you which feels like you're very closer to the higher realms. And people think that I'm getting this very specific message, which is a little confusing, but I will try to deliver it still. There are certain people who are so honest and pure in their intentions that we often associate them with being very close to God. And we think that a family is lucky to have somebody like that. Okay, so I'm saying strictly from an Indian perspective. I don't know if cross cultural people, like people across cultures, will be able to relate to this or not, but I hope they will be able to relate to that. You think that the family is very lucky to have them, and that's why you tell the family that why do you worry, you have this child or you have this person praying for you, and it will obviously work out in your favor. Like no harm can come to you because you have this person amongst you. So something like that, that you in itself are seen as a blessing or a prayer. Okay, an answer to a prayer. And it is understood that if you pray or if you do something, you may be religious, you may be spiritual, you may be very dedicatedly following certain rituals and everything which others know about, and there's a sense that if you ask for something, it will be granted or no harm can come to you. So that is also very beautiful. Anything else? I think you yourself must have been through a lot of difficulties, but you don't talk about it, or you don't let your difficulties be a problem. There is self-sacrifice screaming once again from the cards. King of Pentacles, Eight of Cups. Now this is a difficult message to deliver because I don't want you to be self-sacrificing in any way, but the energy is showing up like that. You also sacrifice your goals and aspirations to make others happy. There are many cases where you have taken yourself for granted or taken your uh, goals for granted because you wanted to make someone else happy, or you did not give yourself importance in the larger scheme of things, which is seen as a good girl or a good child phenomena. And people are appreciating, like people at large are appreciating you for it. People are saying that if you're asking about a collective, then the collective is very happy with you because obviously they don't see you as competition, they don't see you as somebody who will stand up for themselves, and you're very comfortable that way. Okay, but that can be detrimental for your own good. Okay, so that's a clear message. And while that is being appreciated by others, this person is saying that they appreciate, like if you're asking about a specific person, they appreciate how you do not, in the world which is overly materialistic, they like how you do not define, you do not get defined by materialistic goals, ambitions, or desires. That you are somebody who in a sense has been able to transcend all of that. And what you like in people, or what you respect and admire in others, is this innate humanness which makes them respect you even more. And you go through life meditating on it, like you think about things, you stay a moment, you spend a moment with things in order to understand those things better, or care for them better, or develop a relationship. No matter where you go, your energy ends up developing a relationship with life. Everything interacts with you, be it objects, lifeless objects, be it creatures and everything. So you have that Cinderella sort of energy. And it's very beautiful poetic energy no matter what you do. I mean, there's rhythm to you that's very beautiful. And I'm seeing your energy being modeled after, or your energy is the model that many Bollywood heroines and heroes have followed, because you have you are, this is like an ode to life, an ode to humanity, or an ode to beauty in some way. Okay, so that is your enigma, that is your charisma. So I'll sum it up here. The Holy Grail, yeah, absolutely. So your card is also the Holy Grail, which is like precious, man, sought after. So you might have had a lot of suitors or people going crazy over you or fighting over you to get your attention, because I understand you have that Venusian quality to yourself, just very beautiful in its own rhythm. So yeah, you are in your own league that way. So that is my reading for you, group 3. If that resonated, let me know in the comments. For more readings like this, subscribe to the channel. If you're interested in other contents that I have a few other channels where I do similar sort of things in Bengali and in Hindi. If you understand those languages, you might as well subscribe. You might consider subscribing to those channels as well. Otherwise, I'll see you in another reading sometime very, very soon. And if you want to get in touch with me for a personal reading or something, then you can just leave a comment below and I'll guide you with the process. Take care.